Welcome to Black Girl Say Something, where this black girl has something to say. And I guess this will just be a weekly recap. It's been an interesting week. Let's just say I'm back in therapy. Had my first session yesterday. And not necessarily my very first session, because the very first session, is the intake. But my first session, this lady don't want to hear about the current trauma. She want to go back to what was your childhood like. And it takes me back to when my very first therapist, if I could remember his name, I really can't, not for the sake of this episode, but I was talking to my sister about it. And I'm like, dang, I want to remember his name, because my very first therapist, I wasn't with him very long, but it was like, if I could go back and have therapy with him, he would probably be like, whoa, a lot has happened. But my very first therapy session, I was like, how long is it going to take for me to figure out my life and get fixed, right? Because at this point, I'm in therapy, y'all have heard before, over a friendship breakup. So with that being said, I was like, oh, okay. He says to me, therapy is like a relay race. You take what you need and you keep going. And since then, I've had a number of therapists, and every point of therapy, there's been a different moment in my life. So currently, I'm in the best space, but I've also been crippled with anxiety. I don't know. It's like anxiety will just overtake me. So what I'm coming to find, based on just on this one session yesterday, is that my body is processing the trauma from childhood, because I've now done the work to process and be good to my children and be good to myself. I've done the work to process the current traumas. So my body is processing my childhood trauma. So she wanted to know about, like, what was my upbringing like. She's like, go back to a period in time. And I went back to the period in time where I had met my dad for the first time. And I was like 7 or 8 years old. And that was an interesting time, because I met him in such the weirdest way. And I'll probably go into that in another episode. But I want to use this episode to just recap the week where I started therapy. The kids also had their intake sessions for therapy, and they're getting a new therapist. With that being said, I have a massage scheduled this week. That was one of my birthday gifts. I didn't get to do my massage on my birthday because, of course, being a woman, women's health and your cycle and everything. So I didn't get to get a massage on my birthday. So I'm using it now to go get a massage today. I have some work to do, and I'm just in this place. It's the first of the month, y'all. November 1st. So there's literally 60 days left, 61 days maybe left before 2025. And I just want to encourage whomever is listening. And of course, I'm always going to be encouraging myself when I say these things. But whatever you didn't complete, there's always another day, another time. If you didn't complete it this year, start it now. You probably complete it before the end of the year, or carry it into the new year. It takes 21 days to make or break a habit. And so we have 61 days left in the year as of today. And, one of my it's kind of like a pet peeve a little bit, is when the month or the week has 2 months in it. So we ended the month on a Thursday, starting the new month on a Friday. I like when the month starts on a Sunday or a Monday. I don't know why, but anywho, something that I've learned, I want to leave you all with something that I learned today, this week in parenthood. Stay consistent, even when it hurts. Because my son wanted to go to a Halloween party, but he is on a track of where he has to earn these things through a point system. So he didn't make the points. And while it would have been easy to just let him go. When I tell y'all, that young man tried to terrorize me, and I was like, nope, not today. Go in your room, process your emotions. And I went in my room to process my emotions, because, again, if you don't learn how to process your emotions and self-regulate, then you become an adult who don't know how to process your emotions and self-regulate. So he's 10 years old. He's learning. His sister got to go to the Halloween party. He didn't get to go. He was upset about it. And did it hurt me that he was upset? No, because that's a normal reaction, to be upset. But at the same time, you have to learn to be disappointed in yourself. It is what it was. You didn't meet your expectation, and so you don't get to reap the benefit. And I think a lot of times, if we look at I'm not going to classify it and say men or women, but for the sake of this conversation, if you look at the people who are upset that life isn't treating them right, they're still in the same situation they were in last year because they don't want to do the work. So I guess I'll just title this episode, I know I've been going on, but I'll just title this episode, Do the Work. I think that's kind of like the common theme with everything is do the work. I've done the work to process my current trauma, so now I have to do the work to process the childhood traumas and do the work, right? So that your children can see how to effectively process what they need to process, whether it be the positive emotions, the negative emotions. We have to allow emotions to process. Anger is a normal emotion. If you have not watched, what is that movie about the emotions? It's not coming to the top of my head right now. But part 1 and part 2, that's the reality. The reality is anxiety is going to come. I saw a video on TikTok of a young lady. She did her makeup for Halloween, and she was like, anxiety is so dumb because why would I think, oh, I'm going to look dumb if I go outside because what if it's not Halloween? That's exactly how anxiety just works. It just deals in the what ifs, even if there is no what if. And so for me, it would be like, what if this moment in time, my son decides he hates me for the rest of his life because I didn't let him go to the Halloween party? No, that's anxiety. He has to learn that there's consequences to his actions and also to follow through. You have to have follow through with these kids, man. I'm telling you, because they pick up on, they want to be the exception to the rule, and they think that's how life is everywhere. And in doing the work, I've come to realize there's parents who like, well, I had it hard, so my kids are going to have it hard. And that's not my take on life. My take is there's no exceptions to the rule outside of this. So I know you want me to have the exception to the rule in the house, but the reality is that's not the real world. The real world does not give you exceptions, So I stay firm. We created a plan. Me and him even sat down and discussed this plan. So the reality of it is you being upset because you didn't meet your expectation. You can be mad at yourself. You don't have to project that anger onto me. So do the work. It's a new month. It's a new opportunity. But you don't have to wait for a new month or a new year. The moment that you decide to do something different and to do something new is the moment that you can do it. Even in this moment that I've been talking on this podcast, I can get off of here and decide I never want to do this again. You have the choice to do the work of whatever it is that you want to do. Of course, I'm not going to stop doing Black Girl Say Something because this Black girl has a lot to say. And I've been, quiet for so long. Even when I think about my childhood, this lady was asking me, like, how did you process your emotions? How did you feel? How did you speak up? Girl, I wasn't allowed to do that. What do you mean? Being the eldest Black daughter in the household to a single mother? Speak up. Talk about my feelings. Are you crazy? But anywho, with that being said, happy November. Whatever you decide to do, do it. 60 days left. We're counting down. We're in the home stretch. And as always, thank you for listening. If something resonated with you, share this with at least one person. Because remember, this Black girl has something to say. And you can tune in every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I especially want you to click the link, subscribe to our YouTube. Thank you for listening.